All right, welcome to part 2 of the video tutorial for evaluating a future value annuity formula in Math 125. In this video, I'm going to be using a basic scientific calculator. It's the TI-30X2S to evaluate this formula with these values. Now, I've already done this in a more advanced calculator where we were able to just plug everything in one line, and we found out that our answer was 1,310,000, etc. What we're going to do this time in this calculator is talk through how we could evaluate just the numerator in a calculator where you're not able to type in something that looks visually like the formula that we've seen. The major hint or tip that I would like to give you is that it will be very helpful if we evaluate the exponent before we begin. So I'm going to start by computing 12 times 43. We find out that that's 516, and I'm going to use that when I'm typing the numerator into my calculator. Now that I've done that, I'm going to start typing with this internal set of parentheses. The bracket in the formula indicates that all of this numerator has to stay together, and so I'm going to start with the parentheses and go all the way to the -1, but there's no need to actually type the bracket in. Clear out your calculator. We can start typing parentheses 1 plus 0.07 divide by 12, close parentheses, exponent button. Now here, we're going to type in 516. If you try to type in 12 times 43, just like that, this calculator will misinterpret what you mean, and it will think that that only 12 is the exponent, and 43 is just a random number you're multiplying by afterwards. So that's why we wanted to compute that ahead of time. Now that we've done this, we are going to subtract 1. That's everything from the numerator of the fraction, so I can hit enter. And I'm going to write down all of these decimals. This is an intermediate computation. Anytime you do an intermediate computation, you do want to write down every decimal that the calculator shows so that you don't have a rounding error by the end of the problem. It is a little bit tedious, but it only really takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds of your time, which is a much better use of your time than rounding early, getting a question incorrect, and then having to redo it in the homework. All right, so I've evaluated the numerator. Let's go down to the denominator. I'll type in 0.07 divided by 12. Again, you see that this decimal does not terminate, so this is 0.0058, and I have 5 3s afterwards. The final step that we'll evaluate to get the answer we've previously had is we're going to take 400 times the numerator divided by the denominator. 400 times 19.11075659 divided by 0.0058, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, you will notice that my decimal ends up being slightly different, ever so slightly different than the original. That's because I'm using 2 different calculators, and even though I wrote down all of the decimals, these are still rounded values, but this should be accurate enough that it's going to be counted for credit on the homework system that you're using. All right, I hope this video has been helpful in thinking through how to use the future value annuity formula in this type of calculator.